one of the things we did on the way back, which was a ton of fun because it made the flight go back really fast, was watch the AFC Championship game.
Got good service up there, huh?
Yes, yeah.
Very
Well,
cool.
Starlink, it was great.
Very cool.
I'll say this, and I don't know how you feel. From a viewing perspective, like on TV, I get it. Snowstorm is really cool.
Yeah.
From a quality of play standpoint, it is the worst to watch a football game where it's not even professionals playing. They're slipping around, they're sliding. It becomes who's going to, not screw it up, basically. You can't even run offensive schemes. Both teams didn't want to throw the football. From that standpoint, I hated it. But I do think the better team won. And that was, it was unfair to ask Jarrett Stidham, who did come out of the gates firing. That was a great throw there. And then, of course, the 4th and 1 decision here to go. That was the touchdown. The 4th and 1 decision was one that I'm sure will haunt Sean Payton for a long, long time.
Unbelievable.
As you were watching it live, what would you think?
Well, I was watching it live, and just like you said, I always know whether to be the ultimate equalizer, right? That'll take a team that's faster or a team that's more fluid, and it kind of levels the playing field. So I'm sure Denver loved that. The craziest thing was they showed like a time lapse where the first 3 quarters, the field looked like that.
Yeah.
And then in a matter of like 30 minutes, it looked like that.
Yeah.
So then the play got terribly disgusting then, especially even on that last throw where you think Mims might put his foot in the ground and become a DB. He didn't even have the ability to put his foot down and come back. But yeah, man, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I thought it was going to be a matter of this, and I wanted to get your take on this. Say you're Sean Payton, right? I loved how he came out firing. It looked like he opened up the playbook. How do you go into a game like that if you're Sean Payton? I was trying to decide, do I feel like we're still the number 1 seed? We still got a team here. I've got to play this like business as usual. I expect to make a run. Or am I playing it like F it? Now it's house money. Now I'm playing like my hair's on fire. Anything goes. If I lose, I'm going to get the free pass because now I'm playing with Jarrett Stidham. So I didn't get a chance to talk to you about that, but I was dying to hear your take on that. Like the way they came out, I think if they would have stayed with that, why'd he change it?
I think the weather significantly impacted what they wanted to do.
But when did you think it became a factor? Because it
second
wasn't
half.
Second half,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I
but in the first
3
half,
drives,
but I thought Stidham was a little bit shaken when he almost, because it wasn't intercepted, it was dropped on the 4th down. But I thought from that moment, because he turned the ball over again the next drive when he tried to throw it away, and it was the ladder like that.
What the heck was that?
That's a backup. That's somebody who hasn't played in 2 years. To me, and somebody who hasn't played a lot of football, that's what happens. Like those are mistakes you make as a rookie or your first year starting. And Stidham was rusty. You're out of it. You're out of the loop. So you kind of lose your sensibilities of what you can and can't do. And that's when I think Sean Payton was like, I don't know if I can just run a normal offense with him.
And he did the same thing later where he looked like he was like almost medicine ball throwing the pass, and he wound up completing it to a running back. But I was like, these are things you don't do as a high school kid, and he was doing them, and he did them at the wrong time, the worst time, going into the end of because I thought through like a quarter and the first quarter and maybe 3 quarters of the second, I think Denver in a vacuum, man, if you just signed up for that 100 out of 100 times,
Absolutely.
right? They were right where they needed to be, and then the big mistake, the dreaded mistake.
Everyone on their staff they've got analytics people. Yeah. They've got medical personnel. They've got scouts up there with binoculars watching film. Every staff from this point on needs to have a meteorologist.
Oof.
Because I do think if Sean Payton knew how the weather was going to impact this game,
he would have called it.
I think he would have kicked the field goal.
Oh, yeah.
I think he would have kicked the field goal. If you would have known how important those 3 points were and how hard it was going to be to execute anything for both sides, he takes the field goal. Because in the moment, I didn't have that much of a problem with him. He's aggressive by nature. Going into the game, he's like, Jarrett Stidham's great. We're going to be fine with him. But, man, if you had the benefit of knowing that it was going to change the outcome of the game because everything was going to be impacted, I think you would have kicked it 100 times out of 100.
And you got that. Sean Payton is the king of that, right? He's the guy who onside kicked out of the half in the Super Bowl, and it worked for him. So if anyone's going to go ahead and pull a gutsy move like that, it's Sean Payton, and we've seen it work in the past. Where 15 years later, he still looks like a hero. But that one, to me, that was the one that really left me like, oh, what did you just do? And then, granted, the kicker missed 2 later in the game, I think.
Right.
So you almost think, like, was he even going to make that one anyway? So
I think he would have in those conditions. It was perfect at that moment.
Chip shot, too. Yeah. I know. I couldn't believe it.
So as bad as that game was, congrats to Drake May and the Patriots, and Mike Vrabel for moving on. The other game was a ton of fun. A back-and-forth battle of heavyweights who had already faced twice this season. I thought both quarterbacks played phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think Matthew Stafford will be your MVP, but it was about Sam Darnold. For somebody who has had to overcome so much, so many critics, myself included. I remember going into this postseason, I'm like, I know he's had a great regular season, but we've seen him collapse before. We've seen him fold on the big stage. For him to step up and make throw after throw throughout that game on that stage was the best game he's played in his entire career, and it's not even close. And I could not be happier for him because of the path that he's taken. 5 different teams, kicked around, doubted by everybody. To be able to silence everyone, I know he wants to finish it off with a Super Bowl, and maybe they do as they are the favorite in the game. But even if he doesn't, I don't think there's anything more you can doubt about Sam Darnold.
No, 100%, man. I said it last week. I needed to see him win a game, and then I'd be a believer. Because even last week, the way they won the first game, it was on the back of the defense. It's not like Sam really carved anybody up. But, man, last week, 346, 3 touchdowns, no picks, made all the big throws, man. He did everything you needed to see from him. And now, man, that's it. Sam Darnold, I'm a believer, too. Top 5 quarterback in the league, maybe top 7. And I believe it's real this time, man. JSN is legit.
Woo.
He's out of control, that one-handed snag, right? The defense is legit. They actually have everything that you need to kind of make a long run and kind of win that Super Bowl. I think it's super cool to see that rematch of like the Marshawn game, the Richard Sherman mortified game. That's going to be fun.
The Malcolm Butler interception.
The Malcolm Butler game.
Yeah,
that's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a fun matchup. I think it'll be a tightly contested game. I hope it is. Patriots still trying to shock the world again as a 4.5-point underdog, but Seattle's, you mentioned the defense. What do they call themselves? The dark side?
Yeah.
That's kind of what they've deemed, dubbed themselves. It's an extension of their coach, Mike McDonald. I know we're going to talk about some of the coaching changes that have taken place, but this to me is another example. And you've got 2 coaches in the Super Bowl who are not known to be offensive quarterback gurus.
Right.
Like, this drives me nuts because there's always the trend of how are we going to keep our quarterback happy or how are we going to develop our young quarterback? That's not what the head coach's job is to do.
No.
Your head coach, the job is to set the tone, to set the culture, to set the course of an organization. And sometimes it can be the detriment because they hire somebody just because they're a quarterback guy or they're known for offense and they're not a leader of men. They don't know how to do those things, and it sets teams back. And yet I still see teams making the same mistake over and over and over, just going to search for the coach that can fix the quarterback. Go for the coach that can fix the culture and set the tone for the organization, or else you're keeping to be in the same position in another few years when you're wondering, why didn't it work? Because you went and got a quarterback guy. You didn't get a head coach.